As part of the American Cities Climate Challenge, we partnered with OUC and the Science Center to bring the Orlando Tiny Greenhouse today. Visitors have an opportunity to engage in a lot of cool interactive features that will be guiding them on how to save money and reduce their environmental impact. Even though this technology has evolved, not everybody can afford EV or solar right now, so there's a lot of other great highlights of low-cost and no-cost opportunities to save residents money that you'll learn about when you visit the home. And the greenhouse is on wheels, so we're going to be able to take it around the community and have people enjoy it and learn from it in various different areas of our community.
Trailing Thoughts from Bumby Path. This is such a friendly neighborhood because people have been aggressively waving at me a lot today. What is that sound I keep hearing behind me?
Okay, I was going to tell you about the mayor's address, the state of the downtown address being aired in the metaverse, but apparently we're in the metaverse already during the course of this meeting. Why don't we just start? Okay, that's a new intro for the December and last meeting of the Orlando City Council today. So it is December 5th at 2 o'clock. Welcome to Orlando City Hall. We're going to begin today's proceedings with the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Patty Sheehan.
Thank you, Mayor Dyer. And in this Christmas season, I think it's really appropriate to read something that really brings us all together, and that's Amazing Peace, a Christmas poem by Dr. Maya Angelou. Thunder rumbles in the mountain passes, and lightning rattles the eaves of our houses. Flood waters await us in our avenues. Snow falls upon snow to avalanche over unprotected villages. The sky slips slow and gray and threatening. We question ourselves, what have we done to so affront nature? We worry, God, are you there? Are you really there? Does the covenant you made with us still hold? Into this climate of fear and apprehension, Christmas enters, streaming lights of joy, ringing bells of hope, and singing carols of forgiveness high up in the bright air. The world is encouraged to come away from rancor, come the way of friendship. It is the glad season. Thunder ebbs to silence and lightning sleeps quietly in the corner. Flood waters recede into memory. Snow becomes a yielding cushion to aid us as we make our way to higher ground. Hope is born again in the faces of children. It rides on the shoulders of our aged as they walk into their sunsets. Hope spreads around the earth, brightening all things, even hate which crouches breeding in dark corridors. In our joy, we think we hear a whisper. At first it is too soft, then only half heard. We listen carefully as it gathers strength. We hear a sweetness, the word is peace. It is loud now, it is louder, louder than the explosion of bombs. We tremble at the sound. We are thrilled by its presence. It is what we have hungered for, not just the absence of war, but true peace. The harmony of spirit, a comfort of courtesies, security for our beloveds and their beloveds. We clap hands and welcome the peace of Christmas. We beckon this good season and wait with us a while. We, Baptist and Buddhist, Methodist and Muslim, say, come, peace. Come and fill us and our world with your majesty. We, the Jew and the Jainist, the Catholic and the Confucian, implore you to stay a while with us, so we may learn by your shimmering light how to look behind complexion and see community. It is Christmas time, a halting of hate time. On this platform of peace, we can create a language to translate ourselves and to each other. At this holy instant, we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ into the great religions of the world. We jubilate the precious advent of trust. We shout with glorious tongues at the coming of hope. All the earth's tribes loosen their voices to celebrate the promise of peace. We, angels and mortals, believers and non-believers, look heavenward and speak the word aloud, peace. We look at our world and speak the word aloud, peace. We look at each other, then into ourselves, and we say without shyness or apology or hesitation, peace, my brother, peace, my sister, peace, my soul. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll and make a determination of quorum, please?
Commissioner Gray,
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz,
Here.
Commissioner Stewart,
Here.
Commissioner Sheehan,
Here.
Commissioner Hill,
Here.
Commissioner Burns,
Here.
Mayor Dyer.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum with all members present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Our first order of business is the agenda review and city council meetings of November 7th, 2022. Motion by Commissioner Ortiz, second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. We don't have any awards, presentations, or recognitions today, so we will go right into the mayor's update. And since our last council meeting, we have had an extremely significant date pass, and that is Commissioner Stewart's birthday, which was November 27th, and we have a little tradition to honor birthdays of council members. So if you would join me, please, Commissioner Ortiz, would you lead us out?
Should I sound like Marilyn Monroe or just like Tony Ortiz? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Commissioner. Happy birthday to you.
That's pretty good.
Great voice. Do that. You want to do it again? Let's do it for everybody this time.
I think we're good. Just, we might go to caroling later on. Okay, just a few things. I had the pleasure this morning of congratulating the winners of the Historic Preservation Board photo contest for calendar year 23, and the theme was Park Lake Highland Neighborhood, and they took some fabulous photographs. I want to thank the Historic Preservation Board and McCoy Federal Credit Union, who's been sponsoring this calendar for the last 13 years, and I know my wife Susie is waiting anxiously to get her copy to replace last year's copy. You can pick up your copy of the calendar here at City Hall or at the History Center or Lou Gardens. In 2 days, on Wednesday, December 7th, which is also Pearl Harbor Day, we'll have our latest State of the Downtown address, and we will hear about investments made in our downtown and its evolution into a thriving hub. And as I mentioned, you'll get to witness the first ever Metaverse Mayoral speech. So we will see how that all works out. And you don't have to attend from the Metaverse. You could attend physically in person if you would like. It is the holiday season, time to cherish moments with families and friends. We had the Christmas tree lighting on Friday. I think we had probably about 4,000 people out for the Christmas tree lighting. We also have a Lake Eola Wonderland Park that has 30 or 40 vendors, different vendors on Friday and Saturday and Sunday nights. So you come experience it on Friday, and it'll be different on Saturday and be different on Sunday, or you can just pick one of those nights to come. But I invite everybody to check that out. Items on the agenda today, items 2 through 4 in housing, under Mayor 2 through 4 and housing number 3, are items on the agenda to help support some of our community's most vulnerable residents, those experiencing homelessness. So there are funding agreements totaling more than $570,000 to assist some of our partner organizations. They're advancing our collective priority for every person in Orlando to have a safe place to sleep, meet their basic needs of clothing, food, and hygiene. I want to recognize and thank those partners: First Step Staffing, Healthcare Center for the Homeless, Homeless Services Network, and the Christian Service Center. If there's anybody from those organizations here, please stand and be recognized. We want to thank you for your assistance. And in lieu of that, we'll just send you your checks. I also want to acknowledge our Affordable Housing Advisory Committee that is led by Commissioner Gray. Today, we approved their annual report, and I think a number of them are here. Would you like to welcome them, Commissioner Gray?
I would, thank you. And I see Gregory Allen Anderson. So Greg, stand up, take a bow. You're the only one here, so yes, sir, yeah. But for those that don't know, it's a group that we meet once a month and try to tackle our affordable housing challenges. And it's a great group, and our recommendations to our policy are here in the agenda today. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you,
Gregory,
Commissioner
thank you.
Gray, for that work, and would you give our personal thanks to the rest of the committee when you meet again? Also on today's agenda is a small business facade and site improvement agreement for 642 West Church Street. And you may not recognize the address, but you certainly recognize one of the iconic retail shops that we have there, and that's John Henry's Barber Shop, which was located on that block before a fire destroyed the shop. He has been there for many, many years. I've even gotten my hair cut there, Commissioner Hill, Commissioner Burns. I don't know if Commissioner Burns gets his haircut there. Okay. But I'm happy that they are going to be able to re-inhabit that space, and I want to thank the property owner, Ginger Faulkner, for her continued investment in our Paramore community. With that, we're going to move on to the consent agenda, which is a number of items that are acted upon through a single vote of council. We give our council members an opportunity to comment on the consent agenda and update you with important happenings from their districts. We rotate the order that we do that, and today, first up is Commissioner Sheehan.
Well, thank you, Mayor. And we had a wonderful tree lighting at Lake Eola, and it looks great. And the tree synchronizes with the fountain, and there was a happy ending to the person who vandalized it last year. We got a new controller, which does even more cool computer stuff now, and it syncs with the fountain, and it's amazing, and Santa Claus goes across the tree, and it's just really amazing. So I want to thank Chris Wallace and Quincy Richardson, because I know it's a lot of work to put all that stuff up. I want to thank Thomas and the DDB, CRA, for all their support to do the Winter Wonderland, and the new Christmas market is wonderful, so holiday market is great. So I went and checked it out on the night of the tree lighting, and Sienna did get some doggy gifts. She got a lighted doggy scarf. So if you want something really unusual, you can find it at the holiday market. Sienna is loving her new outfit for Christmas. So, it's just it's a lot of fun. And they have some great vendors. And I love the fact that we are supporting local art through that as well. Something that I would like to encourage people as they're out shopping and as they're out running around. I've seen a lot of really careless driving, unfortunately. I had a friend whose partner was in an accident over the weekend, and the person was texting and driving and almost created a very dangerous situation in a downtown street with a 25 mile per hour speed limit. Again, you do not need to text and drive. Everybody's distracted right now, and we don't need to have anyone getting hurt. Put the phone down. You can text later. I know everybody's got a lot going on right now, but do not text and drive, and do not drink and drive, and please let's be careful and take care of each other during this holiday season. On the agenda today, I do have a $10,000 donation from my District 4 funds to restore the diversity mural. It's on the side of a local business that used to be Lampshade Fair. It's now going to become a restaurant, and they needed to put some equipment on it, and unfortunately needed to disrupt the mural, so we're going to replace the part of the mural that was displaced, and it's become a very big community gathering spot. It was actually done by some folks from Seattle, taken over by local artist, mosaic artist Sherry Busella, and she's actually going to be replacing the pieces that were taken away and adding to the mural. And this is actually to help pay the artists, because we need to pay our artists. We keep asking artists to do things for free for exposure. They are professionals too. So this is going to allow Sherry, who actually donated her time the first time, to actually get reimbursed. She's actually been doing some wonderful mural work throughout Orange County and the city, and this will enable her to do that work and make this mural even more special than it is, and extend it down the side of the building. And that's all I had, Mayor. Everybody have a wonderful holiday season.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, Mayor Dyer. I first would like to express my sincere condolences to the family of Mr. Jack Williams, who you know well, that was major in stopping the violence here in Orlando through his nonprofit program, and also a recording studio where he taught kids how to sway away from some of the unbecoming things on the west side of Orlando and learn the skills of recording. And we lost him Saturday evening to his long fight with cancer, and he will be missed. We were fortunate enough on November the 18th, who would have known it would be so swift that death would become him, but we honored him with the Community Humanitarian Award for all of his work there in the west side of Orlando, from District 5 to District 6 and throughout the county. So our hearts and prayers are with his family at this time, which is the brother-in-law of House Representative Alzo Reddick. Also, I won't be as brief as Commissioner Sheehan, since it is the end of the year briefing to the community. I'd like to talk about a few things that we've done and some of the agenda items. I also would like to thank Mayor Dyer and this council for following the lead of many of the more progressive cities in the area that is now honoring Juneteenth as a city paid holiday. So thank you, Mayor Dyer, for your leadership in that effort. Also, congratulations to the Faulkner family and Miss Ginger. Thank you so very much. As I spoke with you, and you stated that it would cost more to bring down the building than it would to preserve the rich history and historic value of that building. So thank you so very much for not just seeing it as a building, but seeing it as the fabric of Paramore, you and your family. And I thank this council for approving that. And Mayor, I know you have been one of the biggest advocates of preserving the history there in Paramore, and this is just another gesture of, of how we're revitalizing Paramore in a sensitive, thoughtful manner. And congratulations to you, Jay Henry. I know it's been rough not being home, because that is home to you, and a lot of great folks have gotten haircuts in there, and folks that nobody know of you've treated as VIP. So to see that, I remember not only Jay Henry being there, but it was the Church Street Fish Market a long time ago. As a little girl, many of us went there and got staples for our dinner tables, especially on Fridays. The line was wrapped around the building on Fridays, going in there to get that fish. So I'm just excited that the city is able to help restore that the Faulkner's building, even though people call it Jay Henry's. It's a family. It is owned by somebody. So I want everyone to know we're not giving Jay Henry $150,000. It's going to the Faulkners so he can come back home. It's all in the family. They raise you up over there, Jay Henry. And then the Old Record Platters Shop, and just so many great historic retail companies have been there, and then more to come to honor Paramore. Also, I'm excited about the F2 housing component there with Colonial Gardens, First Stop Housing, that has now been annexed into District 5. One of its kind. We know when we start talking about affordable housing, impact fees weigh a heavy leverage on if the property or development really can happen and maintain and be sustained as affordable. So to be able to help waive the $735,000 of school impact fees for this project will help it become sustainable for 30 years. But I'm going to send out an ask to my colleagues on the OCPS school board. This is the first step. The city's leading the way, and hopefully we'll have more projects, and I'm hoping that they also will pick up the charge and approve this for First Step Housing to waive these impact fees, because what we do know is the bulk of our children in Title I schools now are homeless, or living in extended stay hotels or shelters. So this will assist even those CPS families with making sure that we can make sure that these children aren't sleeping in the back of their cars and taking wash-offs, not showers or baths, inside of Walmarts and McDonald's and other fast food restaurants, where this is their reality right here in Orange County. So I'd like to thank this council and Housing and Jessica and Oren for leading the way and also permitting. This was a collaborative effort of multiple departments here at City Hall, and and pretty courageous of Mayor Dyer also, because as I stated, this has not been done throughout Central Florida, and this is something that I hope other municipalities champion and school systems, so that we can continue to build multifamily development along with single-family housing, with waiving these school impact fees for affordable developments. And also, I'm proud to say he didn't twist my arm hard, and I didn't call the police on him. But Commissioner Ortiz, I'm happy to help with the $5,000 donation to OPD for the Valencia career pathway that you have done there in that foundation with Lake Nona and also Jones High School, to introduce other careers outside of just, not just, Chief, I didn't mean it like that, but all the different opportunities in law enforcement with this $30,000 down, I would say down deposit on youth lives and careers and professions. And this is only a drop in the bucket, and I was happy to be a part of it, Commissioner Ortiz. And thank you for your leadership in raising those donations. And I saved the last on that, the agenda component. I don't want to sound like the Grinch that stole Christmas, but I am in huge support, because as we know, the bulk of the homeless service agencies are in District 5, and they're in Paramore. And the city of Orlando, among others, really, even today, giving them almost $459,000 towards prevention and triage and restoring those residents that are experiencing homelessness, that have so many challenges. And I know this is so daunting when it comes to really trying to move the needle with homelessness. But once again, Mayor Dyer, Lisa Pertelli, I am going to ask for some accountability. It's one thing that we give millions and millions continuously to the agencies that's helping us with homelessness, but the needle is not moving forward. The needle is moving backwards. I don't know what we need to do, but I do want more accountability for these dollars that we're pouring into an empty hole. When I ride through Paramore and I continue to see block after block with tents and despair and gloom, crime, drugs in these tent cities and skid rows, and primarily right in the gates of an agency that we're giving funding to say we're going to hire two more people to what? Walk out the front door and see a skid row? Walk down the street around the corner on Paramore and see it expanding? I think we can't just say we're doing something about it when I have stabbings in Paramore within these 10 cities. My residents, one of the biggest concerns when Chief Smith was in Paramore last week addressing violent crimes to the community and asking them what their biggest concern wasn't even violent crimes and guns. And it was sad. It was Mayor Dyer, the homeless tent cities. Because they're afraid to go outside. People are defecating in their front yards, urinating in their front yards and backyards, afraid to send their children down the sidewalk to go to a state-of-the-arts elementary and middle school. And we're coming in this council, and especially myself, to ask for more monies. When I haven't seen the box, it's one thing to feed. I'm not saying that we shouldn't feed people. I'm not saying we shouldn't do anything. But all the free haircuts, all the free laundry, I don't know how many people have gotten jobs at First Step, because it most definitely aren't the people that we giving all these free haircuts and going to these tents. And when I ride down and see somebody walk outside of their tent and sweep the sidewalk as if it's their front porch, I'm confused. I'm sad for the residents when we're building homes and single-family homes. I don't know about you, but it'll be a hard sell right now after we complete these homes to ask somebody to come and invest $300,000. I've been begging, I've been pleading. I hate that I had to bring it here today, Mayor, but I had to. I've been talking to staff. We've been meeting in groups for weeks and weeks, and I'm being ignored. This will be my last time that I ask this council to approve $500,000 or more millions of dollars without some accountability and seeing Tent City disrupted and real results. Real results. I'm not saying we should not fund, we should. Haven't seen the mental health clinic come up and no more conversations about it. We cannot continue to put monies or ask for monies when the needle isn't moving. Nobody care more. I'm a nurse before I got here, and my patients were indigent patients and primarily homeless. I'm a strong advocate and even sit on some of the boards. But I'm not one to see where this community, this council, this mayor is putting millions into revitalizing Paramore and giving it to agencies to do help. But we're turning to Skid Row and people are just wandering up and down and tents are erupting. Crime is prevalent within this community, primarily right there in Paramore, outside the doorsteps and sidewalks of the agencies. So I'm in support of this today, but hopefully before we come back again, we can see some real results before we give out more funding. And with that being said, on Saturday, November the 12th, I attended the Lieutenant Deborah Clayton Bridging the Gap event. The event was organized by her son, her only son that was left. OPD really assisted Johnny with that, Johnny Thomas, and it was in the memory of our Lieutenant Deborah Clayton, in which the community was served along with law enforcement, Thanksgiving meals, clothing, along with other services. So I really want to thank Johnny and applaud him for his efforts with keeping his mother legacy alive, along with OPD's assistance. On November 17th, under the leadership of our Deputy Director, Rodney Williams, in my office, we were able to have a multitude of Florida Classic events leading up into the Classic. Myself and Commissioner Burns hosted a breakfast for community leaders and elected officials on where do we go from here. Sponsors were Vice Star Bank, Willie Johnson, and Indelible. And it was a great collective, a lot of conversation with some goals as we move forward. about how to build our community. And then there was thereafter, from 10 to 3, there was a symposium called The Conversation, held at the Amway Center, in which we had leadership throughout Florida there, along with the Florida Chambers of Florida Prosperity Project, and the understanding of importance of community voices, participation, business, and community leaders to discuss topics such as workforce development for the 21st century, affordable housing for all, blacks in technology, mental health in our community, especially the black community, and how to tackle sickle cell anemia. We had those, Kimberly Stewart from KRS Wealth Management, Dr. Rowe, Dean of Career and Technology Education from Miami-Dade. We had our own Commissioner Bakari Burns from Orlando Orange Blossom Healthcare, Nathan Santan, CEO of OIC South Florida, led by Mr. Anthony Robinson, Deputy Executive Director of the Resource Room in Miami, and Ms. Shirley Walker from our RISE program, along with Terry Prather for Affordable Housing for All from Lift Orlando. And also when it came to how do we attack sickle cell, and that was led by Mr. San Antonio Holmes, co-founder of 10 All-in-One, which was the Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl MVP. And it was just a very engaging conversation. Looking forward to next year's conversation. And then the leadership gala that we had there at Camping World Stadium, which was the annual Florida Classic VIP District 5 Leadership Reception. As stated previously, Jack Williams received the Humanitarian Award. Kelly Cohen, which has been a staunch advocate of all things Orlando, but really people don't know a lot of the work she does when it comes to equity and inclusion here in the city, but more so there on the west side of Orlando. She received the Vanguard Award. Mr. Derek Chubbs, CEO of Second Harvest, received the MVP Community Award. Our own advocate, that Walter Hawkins, received the Advocate Award, along with the award appreciation. With much of the work and sponsorship that happened was done by Mr. Steve Hogan, and we honored him for all that he has done within the footsteps of that stadium. Congratulations to our City Football League, where our Grand Avenue Saints won. They're in District 5 for the Mighty Tights, the juniors, Grand Avenue Saints. Our seniors, Rosemont Eagles won, and the Mighty Mites was Grand Avenue Pee Wee teams. So all those great teams, in the, we didn't put it here, but I think it was the Pee Wee team from Avalon Park won against Rosemont, which was a hard fought game, and it was tough because my grandson was the quarterback and he left in tears. But you win some and you lose some. So he was taught a nice lesson about it's not just about winning, but just playing your hardest and coming back the next year. Monday, November the 21st, by great partners for the last 8 years of Orlando City Soccer, Publix, and Second Harvest. We were able to provide turkeys with all the trimmings for close to 2,500 families, and then an additional 500 throughout District 5 through the partnership of Lee Wesley and also my office, which a total of 3,000 families was served throughout District 5 from the stadium, where we allowed folks from all over the city, along with Salvation Army, and to come, and even if they were county residents, to receive a Thanksgiving meal. No one was turned around. Then Timberleaf Apartments, Soldiers of Scholars, which is a UCF program there at Metro Place in District 5, our Jackson Court and Division Oaks residents and Carver Park residents, along with the Boys and Girls Club of West Lakes. So all of them was able to receive then a special donor came and helped provide Thanksgiving dinners for them to take home for their families. All of the District 5 family parks and recreation staff assisted me with turkeys and trimmings. Those folks and employees for the City of Orlando do an amazing job with all the work, not some of the work that I do when it comes to community outreach. And then on that Wednesday through Friday, I attended the Florida League of Cities Legislative Conference held at Embassy Suites in Kissimmee, along with Commissioner Tony Ortiz, past FLC President, in which I sit on the Economic Development, Infrastructure, and Affordable Housing Committees, and where we done some great work with some policy that we're going to advocate in Tallahassee. Great team of legislators and committee members, which are elected from out all the state of Florida. I'm proud to sit on that board with them. Also on Friday the 2nd, Jones High had the semifinals football team, which they fought a hard-fought game where we were defeated 30-24, but we applaud them. I know Commissioner will talk about that component. And then a week prior to that, the Friday prior to that, I'm proud to say that Jones High School is the best in the city. We were able to beat the undefeated Eagles 43-13. I'll move on.
I got a tie on.
Well, he got a towel.
I got a tie on.
Usually Edgewater has beat us here on this dais for 10 years, and I always don the regalia of red and white. Well, you can barely see that tie. It kind of looks like, as he says it's orange and green. Said this commissioner approved, but if it was left up to me, he'll have a Jones High orange and green cap on, some green pants, and an orange shirt.
I told you I'd wear whatever you brought in.
But I went out and purchased mine. But nevertheless, I appreciate it. It was all, and done, and like I said, it's any given Friday. It's anybody's game. And two great schools with great competition, very competitive young men. And our biggest thing is to get them to the finish line and get them to college or trade or in the military and learn sportsmanship and camaraderie. And I think all of those things were exhibited. So we kid and tease here on the dais about being competitive, but they're all of our kids. And we're just so very proud of both of the schools and all the schools in the city of Orlando. And their ran programs that they have when it comes to athletics and creating scholar athletes. So I'm most proud of that. So on Tuesday, December the 6th, last week, Friday, December the 1st, Chief Eric Smith came over to Paramore, had a community conversation, well led. Great job, Chief Smith, you and the chain. Was well attended, about 75 residents. This Tuesday we'll be over at the we'll be over at the Jackson Center at 6 p.m. And Chief will also be there with the men and women of OPD to answer questions and just talk about strategies as we move forward and priorities. Thursday, December the 8th at 6 p.m., I'll be over at the Northwest Center. As you know, Mayor Dyer and this council also made the Northwest Mercy Drive corridor a priority also. We put a youth program over there, and we'll be having our fall youth employment interns graduating. It'll be 20 of them. And we're just really proud in partnership with Orlando Jobs Academy, After School All-Stars, and our City of Orlando Youth Job Program. 9 of those graduating attended Jones High, 6 attended Evans High School, 2 attended West Oaks Academy, and 1 is from Edgewater High School, and another is from Orlando Science Center. And they, for 6 weeks, they learn workforce readiness and training. And the students have undergone a very vigorous professional development training, preparing them on success when they enter the workplace. On December the 10th, this upcoming Saturday, in partnership with Second Harvest, EA Sports, we will be back at the Northwest Community Center where we will be having a holiday food drive-through. We know that school and holidays are now approaching us. Want to make sure that families had rations in their cupboards and refrigerators. Along with the Angel Tree Network, we'll be partnering with Chaplain Jillian Hewitt, where we will be making sure children in that area who have parents who are incarcerated receive stipends of food, staples of foods, but also gifts and letters from their parents that's incarcerated. Our Mercy Drive Baby Institute, where we're helping parents understand on how to be better parents and giving them the skill set in parenthood. They'll be graduating from a 12-week course that is being implemented over there. And then on the 14th, we'll have a holiday toy drive for the youth over in Mercy Drive through Athletic Connections Foundation and Orlando Jobs. We're asking folks to bring at least a minimum of a $20 unwrapped toy for girls or boys between the ages of 5 and 15 to the Monroe. And then, excuse me, on the 17th, we'll have the toy giveaway from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. At the Northwest Center, and then from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. with the Experience Church at the Lake Larnedune, and that's from 10 to 1. And I made up for the old and the new from when I have short briefings. But with that, Happy New Year and Merry Christmas. I had to channel my Commissioner Eames, okay?
No, we don't, he's gone, there's a reason he's gone.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my.
What I had to say was very important, so we need to be said.
brief, too.
I was brief.
All right, Commissioner
When you
Burns.
do yours, you do yours.
Commissioner
All right,
Burns.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, fellow commissioners. I will keep mine brief. Last month, I was happy to participate in the Veterans Day Parade with our mayor and fellow colleagues. It was great celebration, and thank you to the Mayor's Veteran Advisory Committee for putting on such a great event. Also, on November 15th, I joined the Orlando Magic at Grand Avenue Neighborhood Center to give away turkeys and trimmings to the community. Thanks to their generosity, we served over 400 families for Thanksgiving. Also partnered with Premier Concrete Solutions to give away another 250 turkeys to surrounding communities of the Smith Center, James R. Smith Centers. So thank you to all who came out, donated, and volunteered to make this event happen. Also last month, I had the opportunity to participate in 2 teach-ins in District 6. I read I Am Enough to a group of kindergartners at Washington Shores Elementary School. That was a very great experience. They were engaged, had me engaged, so I enjoyed that. Also, I had the opportunity to do a presentation on local government to middle schoolers at Carver Middle School. So I'm grateful whenever I can speak to students and just share some information, but also encourage them to continue to move forward. That same week, I joined Commissioner Hill for a classic breakfast. Thank you, Commissioner Hill, for putting on that, where we discussed the importance of the game, the classic, but also civic engagement in our communities. Also was able to sit on a panel that Commissioner Hill mentioned, healthcare, to talk about sickle cell anemia and its impact on the Black community. So again, thank you, Commissioner Hill, for your leadership in that. On November 18th, during the week of the Florida Classic, I held the first annual 4 Student Success Scholarship Celebration, where we gave out $14,000 in scholarships to students of District 6 who are currently attending or who will be attending college coming up or trade school. During this celebration, we also provided over $8,000 to My Brother's Keeper program to help them to continue to make a positive impact on our young black men and men in color in our area. The scholarships and contributions were made available from the proceeds of my annual For the Children golf tournament. So thank you to my fellow commissioners for your support of that tournament. For the agenda, a couple of agenda items I'd like to mention. Under A2 and 4, the funding agreements for First Step staffing for employment, transportation services for people experiencing homelessness, as well as for the funding agreement for the Homeless Services Network. Also for A3, the funding agreement for the Healthcare Center for the Homeless. And as you all know, for a number of years I have served as the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Healthcare Center for the Homeless. And item A3 on today's consent agenda is a funding agreement with the Healthcare Center for the Homeless. For several years, the city has provided grant funding to the Healthcare Center for the Homeless and will again be receiving grant funding through this agreement. I'd like to note that none of my compensation will come from these funds received pursuant to the funding agreement, and that I have not participated in any manner in that negotiation. Additionally, I have filled out Form 8B, Memorandum of Voting Conflict with the City Clerk, and will be abstaining from that particular vote. Also, I'd like to express my appreciation for the work of the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, and thank you, Commissioner Gray, for your leadership in that. I support the recommendations of the advisory committee. However, I am very interested in the final decisions as it relates to the density bonuses and requiring developers to add affordable housing units in exchange for increased density. When I sat on that committee prior to being an elected official, there was developers were allowed to add art to their development in lieu of providing affordable housing units. And we as a committee did away with that option because we saw that most developers just opted to provide art. The nature of that art really wasn't defined, so we got rid of that option. The current policy allows developers to pay into the City of Orlando Trust Fund for low and very low income housing in lieu of providing affordable units on site. And as I understand, most developers do pay into this housing trust as opposed to adding affordable units. The report states that if the in lieu fee is kept as an option, staff is to look for more appropriate calculations to offset the generation of affordable units. So I am very supportive, again, if that option is there, that we truly look at what does it cost to build an affordable unit, and that be the amount that these developers would need to put into this fund. So again, thank you, Commissioner Gray, for your leadership on that. So I look forward to the final decision as it regards granting the density bonus. Lastly, many of you may know that my executive aide, Jason Henry, is leaving my office to pursue a phenomenal opportunity that will continue to allow him to grow professionally and utilize all of his great skills and talents on a larger federal scale. So we're excited for him. Many of you may know that Jason served as my campaign manager, so he was the architect of my winning strategy to get to this seat. So I've always thanked him for that. When I took over, when I was sworn in, I asked Jason to give me 90 days to help get my office together, and that 90 days turned into almost 3 years. So very thankful for Jason and all that he's done. He has a great working relationship with all of our departments. He will truly be missed, but we do wish him much success in his future endeavors. And with that, Mayor, that ends my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of quick thank yous to some folks. First of all, I want to thank the Mayor's Veterans Advisory Committee for organizing and hosting our Veterans Day Parade on November 12th. Our staff was involved in that as well, but it's a great community event. This year we focused and honored women's role in the military, and that was kind of neat to hear some of the contributions from the women, not just in the last 20 years, but early on. And so it was a great event. So thanks to those folks for putting that on. And then also on the 22nd, Wednesday, we did a turkey giveaway down at the Odyssey Middle School for Neighbors in Need. I want to thank the after-school all-star staff for helping us with that. And also Anna Cruz from the OLA office for attending to share some of her services. And thank our sponsor, Lee Wesley, for helping us with the turkeys, both finding them as well as donating those. So that was nice of them. On the agenda, real quick, I did want to thank the mayor for bringing up, and the rest of the council, F1, the Affordable Housing Action Committee. And I forgot to thank our staff as well, who is big help, our housing staff. Some are over here, so thank you. And also Paul Lewis, I don't think Paul's here, from the planning side. He was a big help to kind of educate us and lead us through there. We don't have all the answers, that's for sure, but I think the committee is working hard to try to make things a little easier and helpful for folks who are creating affordable housing. So I want to thank everybody involved in that. And Mayor, with that, I'll move on. So I'll pass, talk to the agenda when it happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Commissioner, for what you do with the housing program there. Let me start by pinpointing items C8 and C9, which is the agreement of the city with the Main and Market Street programs. We have a Gateway district here, which I'm very proud of, is the Main, them and Crayford West, but Gateway was started a while back and has become a monster of a great program. And so Amilcar and Miguel, thank you so much for what you're doing, and Pauline and the whole staff, everybody, you guys are doing a great job. So I'm very proud of that. Thank you. I'm gonna make a little halt here to also thank each and every one of the commissioners for helping us putting some money together for Valencia, for the Valencia College Fund. 2016, 4 organizations, Valencia, Orange County, Osceola County, and the City of Orlando, we came together and we created this Career Pathways dual enrollment program. It's called the Central Florida College and Career, Central Florida Public Service College and Career Readiness Program, in which we have kids, they graduate from high school and they go into Valencia, and they, through that synergy, they can become law enforcement officers or firefighters or any of the other professions within our safety realm in the Central Florida region, and it has been very successful. And we put our heads together, all the commissioners, each and every one of the commissioners was involved in this, and they have been, we're very proud to donate to the Valencia College Fund $30,000, $5,000 from each one of the districts. And we have here with us today Dr. Jeffrey Galt, who represents Valencia College, and he's going to have a few words. So.
Can you all hear me? Okay. Mayor and Commission, that was a beautiful poem and a great way to start the meeting with some singing. Commissioner, you got a great voice. I didn't know you had such a nice voice over all these years. Thank you for allowing me to share a few words this afternoon to highlight and support the $30,000 of funds that you're donating from your districts to the Valencia College Foundation for the Central Florida Public Safety College and Career Readiness Program. As the Commissioner stated, it was launched in 2015 under his leadership and partnership. It's a regional alliance and partnership between public and private interests, Valencia College, the School of Public Safety at the college, regional public safety agencies of law enforcement, corrections, and fire rescue, and our Orange and Osceola schools, especially 3 high schools in the city of Orlando. That would be Jones, Boone, and Lake Nona, and I'll mention them, the numbers at the schools in a minute. After this program came together 7 years ago, Valencia developed track programs in our 2-year criminal justice and fire science degree programs. These law enforcement and fire academy tracks offer high school graduates a defined pathway into Valencia for a 2-year degree and a police or firefighter and EMT certification, thus offering highly educated and certified police and firefighter candidates for you in the city of Orlando for each district. The fire science track program began in 2016. We're in our 7th cohort already this year. So far, 180 students have been in this program with a very high graduation rate of 90% and a high placement rate into regional fire departments at 85%. This year, we have over 90 or almost 100 declared students in our criminal justice track, and once they're done, they will go serve, hopefully, the Orlando Police Department. Additionally, over the past few years, as part of this program, Valencia has collaborated to develop unique partnerships with career pathway programs at several high schools. There's one out in East Orange County, the First Responder Academy at East River High, and then we have the 3 high schools in the Orlando Police Junior Reserve Law Enforcement program at Jones Lake Nona High Schools, as well as the long-running pathway program, the Criminal Justice Academy at Boone High School. And these are designated pathways where students can get up to 15 college credits in high school as they enter Valencia. They have to complete some courses and pass an assessment. So the interest in public safety is very, very impressive. Currently, there are 102 students at Jones High School that are in the OPD program. There's 308 students at Lake Nona. They actually had to hire another instructor for that program because it's gotten so big. And there's 211 students at the long-standing Boone High School program. So, Chief, there's enough high schoolers to replace the entire department if you need them. They're waiting on it. They'll be out soon to help you. There's a lot of interest in public safety in this region. And this program not only wants to attract interested students from the Orlando community into our pathways and into the tracks that I've already highlighted, but our important goal of the program is to offer financial resources for tuition to our public safety degrees and certification programs, thus making the student's journey possible as they desire to serve the great city of Orlando, the city I proudly served for 20 years as a law enforcement officer, so I'm very proud to be here today. Most important, this big donation, if it's approved today, is the seed to this big tree of protection that keeps growing. It's a significant resource in our community, ultimately making a student's dream come true when they have financial options and support to receive the education, the training, to become a police officer or firefighter in the city of Orlando. As I stated, the education and training pathways, everything's built. These are the roots of the programs. The donations are needed to support the next phase of this program, the tuition phase for the next generation of officers and firefighters. So thank you for allowing me to express my support and provide some information for this wonderful donation to the future safety of Orlando. And please know this donation will be cared for by the best foundation staff in the nation at Valencia, as these funds are awarded to many outstanding and motivated young men and women in Orlando in the future. And you know, we have record growth, we have record tourism, so we've got to keep Orlando safe, and this is one heck of an investment to do that. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Golds, and thank you, Dr. Polinsky, for helping us out with this too. Thank you so very much. And thank you to each one of the commissioners, Mayor, everybody, for their support and your commitment. Continuing, on Monday, November 21st, my office and I delivered turkeys to seniors in our district. I want to thank Lee Wesley Group and the Hispanic Federation of Florida and Southeast for your contributions, and the Park Rangers, Park Ranger Peter Warner from the City of Orlando, Liaison Officer Keith Hernandez and Megan Shaver, being part of. We'll be home to 30 firefighters, house 4 bays, 4 units, an engine, a tower, a rescue, and a District 2 chief, and a District 2 commissioner. No, that's not part of that. And it's designed to promote firefighter health and safety while providing top-rated service, functionality, and rapid response times to our community. I want to thank Corey Knight, Deborah Gerald, Lori Botts, and staff for making the new fire station, the Beast of the East, a reality. Saturday, December 3rd, I visited Dover Green Condominiums for their annual Christmas party. Thank you, Dover Green, for your generous invitation and having me over to celebrate. Dover Green is one of our newest neighborhoods after the recent redistricting. I had a great time getting to know my new residents. Commissioner Gray took great care of this community, and I'm really looking forward to work with them. Today, Crazy Pollo, a restaurant at Dahlia Drive, treated our officers to a nice rotisserie chicken lunch. I guess in celebration for Thanksgiving. I just want to thank Ms. Elena and her staff for doing that for our community. It was good to see our lieutenants and some of our guys And they didn't stay, Chief. They took their meal, and they left. They were out on the streets working. So, saddens me to see somebody after such a great job she's done with the city to leave us, and that we have developed a great relationship, and you have been. I keep seeing great people living, and this is starting to make me to depress me here. Pauline Neaton is retiring at the end of this month. And you're going to be very missed. You have done such a great job with our communities with the main Market Street programs. You have taught us a lot. You came from Ohio. Go Bucks. Awesome. I'm very thankful in a personal note. Thank you for everything you've given to our community. May God keep protecting you and giving, keeping you in His path and protecting you in His path, you and your family. You have been awesome. And I hope you're not going anywhere. I hope you stay here in the city, okay? This year, 2022, has been a year full of challenges. Pandemic, the districting, elections, and hurricanes, Ian and Nicole, to name a few. The floods we had in the city. But what makes me proud of this community is not just the resiliency, is the communication collaboration we have. People don't know this, but I visit other countries and I visit other states, and when I see what we have, this is special. We sometimes take it for granted. This is very special. Our aides, our liaison officers, our staff, city department, business community, residents, which are our greatest assets, we all come together when things get a little tough around here. And we all have disagreement from time to time, but we know how to sit at the table and talk about it. That's a blessing. That's a real blessing. This city is blessed. This region is blessed. That happens also because of the leadership we have. Mayor, you have been great. When we were lighting up that tree, I look back almost 15 years ago, and I also remember even before when I was working with Commissioner Wyman and seeing you, how you started here, and I even asked you, I said, do you ever sit down and look back to what the city used to be and what the city is now? We have evolved for the better. We can really talk about triumphs, and we can also talk about successes. That's because we have a great community, and we must continue being like that. And with that being said, the only thing that's left to say is that I hope the good Lord fill each and every one of your households and every person with abundance of health, peace, and prosperity. And you all have a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Commissioner Ortiz. I can finish my sentence. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioner Ortiz. Okay, I got the orange and green on to make, I'm going to take it off in a minute if you guys keep ragging on me. Pauline, thank you for your service. It's been great having you here. And I can't imagine, it's been 11 or 12 years ago since we started this Main Street stuff. 15? No. Because I know we just did 10. Man. Thank you. I think it's been an example not only to other communities individually, but also with larger cities to see how they can address those local business districts in a more creative way. So thanks. And it's good to see Winter Park coming along 15 years after we started. Sorry. Sorry, the mayor will get mad at me. The mayor, Winter Park get mad at me, but I don't care. Mayor, thank you for the tree lighting. Man, it's great. Commissioner Sheehan, it was, I know you're proud of what's going on over there, and it's been a real blessing. I walked around the lake afterwards and hear the comments and hear the people, to see them try to fight to get to an ornament, to take a picture, I think really sends a whole signal about what we want our community to become, and I think they led that by example. Thank you, Commissioner Sheehan. Yes, Jones beat Edgewater, so Edgewater beat Jones beat Edgewater, so we're going to be tied as city champs. So I'll move on. I want to say thank you to Ivanhoe Village for an amazing Jingle Eve. They had 600 of the individual the wine walk done. They probably had about 10,000 people over there, of course, of the evening. It was wonderful. It gets bigger every year, and I think people who come just love it. The biggest challenge is parking, but when you get 10,000 people, the biggest challenge is going to be parking, and I hope that's always the biggest challenge. I want to say a special thanks to those who helped us with turkey giveaway at the Rosemont Neighborhood Center a couple of weeks ago. Special thanks to Quantum Leap. They had an opportunity to get over there to celebrate their 10th anniversary. I was out of town when Commissioner Sheehan went over there, but that's been a real asset to our community over there, and I really am thankful for them. We had a great Fusion Fest downtown. We hadn't had a chance to get to it. It is a wonderful example of the many many parts of our community that come together and enjoy community. I'm especially grateful that the Rotary District 6980 was a co-sponsor, and I think that falls directly in line with the Rotary International's mission of peace worldwide. So I think it was a wonderful event. We had the opportunity to do the groundbreaking, or the grand opening of the Advent Health Innovation Tower. Mayor, you and I did the groundbreaking over there and did the topping off, I think. That's what a wonderful new facility over there, and it's going to really put Orlando on the map in terms of combining neurosurgery, neurology, as well as orthopedics in the same place. This coming Saturday, the College Park Main Street is hosting the first holiday parade down Edgewater Drive. You get a chance to come over, it'll be that evening, and we'll have our holiday on the drive that evening as well. I want to say a special thanks to Baldwin Park. I had the opportunity to serve as the Grand Marshal for the Winter Wonderland Extravaganza and Christmas tree lighting. It was really neat to spend some time out there. A lot of people that came out, and it's just a wonderful atmosphere. Let me also take a quick sidebar and thank David Wagg and his crew for the work they've done at Harbor Park. Over the course of the past 15 or 20 years, Harbor Park has had a lot of issues with erosion, and Hurricane Ian and Hurricane Nicole really kind of compounded that. So they've done a really good job of rebuilding that area over there. It should be open up in about 2 or 3 weeks, but it has been, appreciate the work and leadership they're doing over there. Special thanks to on the calendar. Thank you, Mayor. I'll get a chance to share that. But the Park Lake neighborhood is very, very proud of the work and how and what they've done over there. So I appreciate that. Special happy birthday to my liaison officer, DeCarlos Hill. His birthday was last week, and I'd love to rub it in a little bit. Upcoming events. The Dazzling Lights is coming up. It's here already. And they'll go through January, I think the first week in January. It's wonderful. You get a chance to go over there, you'll enjoy an evening walk around Lou Gardens. And don't forget, during this holiday season, our small businesses need your help. And so remember to shop small. On the agenda, Commissioner Ortiz, I'm honored to support the Public Service College and Career Readiness Program. Thank you for continuing to lead that. And on H2, 3, and 4, the work that we do with Community Block Grant and the work that we're doing with Colonial Gardens Apartments, I think is a good signal to send forward. I do agree a little bit with Commissioner Hill. It needs some accountability, but some of that accountability and these issues are easy. The hard accountability is the overarching theme. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the results are after the point in time count, end of January, see what that tells us. That's going to give us a good benchmark about where we've been for the last 10 or 15 years. And then I think from there we can see some additional services that may be available to use them. But with Colonial Gardens coming in, with the renovation of Palm Gardens, we're making real strides in that corridor, and I'm honored to include both of those. And with that, Mayor, I'd like to move the consent agenda.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Ortiz. All in favor of the motion, indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, and so the motion carries. Okay, we're going to give anybody that's here just for the consent agenda items a couple seconds to make your way out to the rotunda. I may have caught a few people sleeping in the press gallery. Not going to call out any names. Okay, we're gonna, without objection, we'll recess the city council meeting and convene the CRA meeting. The first item is approving CRA minutes for November 7th. Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, so the motion carries. David, will you take us through 2 and 3?
Yes, good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Item 2 is a CRA Downtown Commercial and Residential Building Improvement Program, also as we kind of generally refer to as our facade program. It is the building that both you, Mayor, and Commissioner Hill mentioned in your earlier remarks, 642 West Church Street. They qualify for $120,000 in CRA funding under this program. With that, they will be doing roof repair, windows, doors, HVAC, and structural improvements as well. And I am happy to address any questions about this item.
Questions or motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, or Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. And number 3?
Number 3, Mayor, is another downtown commercial and residential building improvement program funding agreement. This one is in the CBD area of the downtown. It is at 112 South Orange Avenue. This specific building is eligible for $100,000. There's additional to the work, and I'm happy to address any questions.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. David, any further business come before the CRA?
That is all, Mayor.
Then we will stand adjourned as to the CRA. We'll reconvene the city council meeting. The remainder of the agenda is hearings, ordinances on second reading. So, Madam Clerk, you're up. Number 1.
Ordinance number 2022-64, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to a street name change, renaming Hesse Road, which is described in the Poitras East N-5 North Phase 2 plat. It was recorded in Plat Book 106, pages 55 and 56 of the Public Records of Orange County, Florida, generally located between Laureate Boulevard to the north of Orchid Island, Kauai Drive to Progression Way, directing amendments to the official maps of the City of Orlando, Florida, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, and an effective date.
Motion to adopt.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Ortiz. Is there any requests for testimony?
No speakers, Mayor.
No testimony. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, number 2, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance number 2022-66, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to mechanical equipment, amending Chapter 58, Part 5B18 of the Land Development Code entitled Mechanical Equipment, amending Chapter 58, Part 8E of the Land Development Code entitled Miscellaneous Yard Requirements, amending Chapter 65, Part 2F of the Land Development Code entitled Modification of Development Standards for Site Plan Approval, amending Chapter 66 of the Land Development Code entitled Definitions, providing legislative findings and for codification, correction of scrivener's error, severability, and an effective date.
Hold on, Commissioners, before we vote on this or take a motion, staff's requesting additional time to work on a couple additional changes to the ordinance, and we have advertised the ordinance, so there may be parties here to testify. We need to open a public hearing and vote to continue the term, and staff is requesting a continuance to our first meeting in January. So I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing and then ask for a motion to continue to January 9th.
Okay.
Somebody got a motion?
Motion to continue to January the 9th.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Stewart. Did we have anybody that would like to testify, Madam Clerk?
No speakers, Mayor.
Okay, then let's see. All in favor of the motion to continue indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, number 3.
Ordinance number 2022-68, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to eating and drinking uses, amending Chapter 58, Part 1B of the Land Development Code entitled Zoning Tables, amending Chapter 58, Part 4B of the Land Development Code entitled Alcoholic Beverage Establishments, amending Chapter 62, Part 5 of the Land Development Code entitled Design Standards in AC-3A District, amending Chapter 66 of the Land Development Code entitled Definitions, providing legislative findings, and for codification, correction of scrivener's error, severability, and an effective date.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. So Commissioners, I want to propose a motion to amend the ordinance to address some public concerns in the new language of proposed section 58.705 regarding restaurants serving alcoholic beverages. I'll go ahead and move to amend the ordinance at line 201 and remove paragraph G5 in section 58.705 to delete the following. The restaurant must be open to guests of all ages. Brooke, you want to come give us, Sherry? No? Elizabeth? Just a quickie little explanation.
Yes, good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Elizabeth Dang. I'm the City Planning Division Manager. And in the ordinance, there's a whole laundry list of characteristics that staff will look for to determine if something is a restaurant. Most importantly, that they sell at least 51% of their sales as food, not alcohol. And we had this item as a proposal to ensure that all ages are allowed. But it did come to our attention, there are some very formal restaurants that discourage children and high chairs and things of that nature in a formal setting, and we didn't want to preclude that for a legitimate restaurant, so we're proposing to strike that language.
Okay, so I move the amendment. I need a second on that.
Second.
Okay, let me take, motion and a second by, who had the second? Commissioner Sheehan. Question, Commissioner Ortiz.
It's just to set on the records. I asked her if we have checked with legal to see if there was no ramifications on that one. Did we find out?
Right, this is not something that the city checks for right now. We don't ask anybody what age they serve, so we will continue not checking for that. So if there is a case where somebody feels discriminated against or they want to bring their kids and they were told no, that would be handled through a normal lawsuit type scenario.
But
And I don't know.
The question was, is that at the state level, is that okay? Is that legal for them to do that?
Roy, do you have anything to add on that?
Your age is not a protected class, so.
Not mine, but kids maybe.
Unfortunately, they don't get to say, but yeah, it's not a protected class. If a business owner chooses to do that, that's a business decision they can make. They have to have a reason for it. So most of the time, like they did that at Tornatore's on Edgewater, they were having problems with the teenagers in there. So if you've got a rational basis for doing it, you can. It's not a protected class. It's really up to the
I just
up
want
to
to
the
make sure it
business
doesn't
owner.
come back to a city. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so on further discussion. So we need to vote on the amendment first. So all in favor of the amendment to delete the language, the restaurant must be open to all guests at all ages, indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. And now on the ordinance as amended, all in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. So the motion carries. Did we have any public testimony?
No, Mayor.
Yeah,
I had a comment, Mayor.
Commissioner Hill.
Yeah, I would just wanted, Elizabeth, if you could just oblige briefly, because I know there were some folks at home that was watching and emailed and called my office. Just wanted to clarify the difference, Mayor, of a restaurant, bar, nightclub, if that's okay.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what this ordinance does. It's
Yeah.
just, we have not in the past distinguished
Right.
between those three
Right.
uses.
Right.
And this sets up
I know, because I've been
criteria.
brief, but
Okay.
for those
Elizabeth?
that, if you can just brief them.
Certainly. Before this code amendment, all these different types of uses were lumped together as eating and drinking establishments. So by separating them out, we define a restaurant as someplace that serves at least 51% of food, and that the food is continuously available and served while alcoholic beverages are being served. There are tables and chairs. It must be licensed as a restaurant by the state of Florida, so that we're checking both directions. And then with bars, there's no limit. They're not required to serve food. And nightclubs, what we're looking for to distinguish between a bar and a nightclub is what kind of entertainment they offer at night. So that late night entertainment is what becomes a nightclub.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, and we've already voted to adopt it, so let's move on to number 4, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance number 2022-70, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, annexing to the corporate limits of the city certain land generally located north of Barley Street, south of Edgemore Street, east of South Fanfare Avenue, west of South Ivy Lane, and comprised of 1.85 acres of land, more or less, and amending the city's boundary description, amending the city's adopted growth management plan to designate the property as office low intensity on the city's official future land use maps, designating the property as low-intensity office residential on the city's official zoning maps, providing for amendment of the city's official future land use and zoning maps, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to testify?
No speakers, Mayor.
No speakers, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. And number 5.
Ordinance number 2022-71, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, rezoning certain land generally located west of South Ivy Lane, south of College Drive, north of Carter Street, and east of Campanella Avenue, and comprised of approximately 1.1 acres of land from no city zoning to neighborhood activity center, providing for amendment of the city's official zoning maps, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. I understand we have no request to testify. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And so the motion carries. Ed, I think we do have a couple of general appearances, so can you get us prepared for that?